Welcome to Kiva's Place, the Kiva Murdoch Show and podcast. We hope that by the end of our show, you're left feeling empowered, motivated, and connected. So come on in the room, grab your favorite drink, sit back, and enjoy the ride because you're finally at home at Kiva's Place. Now give it up for our host and producer, Coach Kiva Lernice Murdoch.
Hello, and welcome to another amazing episode of Kiva's Place, the Kiva Murdoch Show and Podcast. I am your host and producer, Coach Kiva Lernice Murdoch. And at Kiva's Place, this is a place where we have authentic conversations at a place that feels like home. If you're just joining us for the first time, we are right in the middle of our Imperfectly Fierce and Focused series. We have been doing this series for about the past 8 or 9 weeks. And this series precedes our upcoming anthology project that is going to be launching at the end of May of next month. So during this series, we have been bringing on various guests from all different walks of life with all different types of stories about how they're able to live in perfectly fierce and focused. And some have really endured some very trying situations. They have endured sicknesses. They have suffered with low self-confidence and self-esteem. And I'm very honored that they felt privileged to be able to come onto our show and share their story to help us in our pre-launch of our upcoming book project. So tonight is another amazing night. I have a wonderful guest. She's one of my sister queens. So I'm going to introduce her to you so that we can dive right into our show. So I'm super excited to have her. So our guest tonight is kicking off part 8 of our series, like I stated earlier. And joining me in my virtual studio is Miss Janice Hartwell. She is the reigning Mrs. Gaston Plus America 2023. She is 42 years old. She has been married for the past 12 years. She has 2 beautiful children, Malachi and Trinity. Janice is the current Miss Rain and Mrs. Gaston Plus America, as I just stated. Not only that, she is an evangelist and she loves the Lord. She loves to motivate and encourage people. She enjoys working her platform throughout the community, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about that as well. She is also the CEO of Anointed Scripts LLC, which she started in May of 2022, where she writes inspirational poems as well as poems for all occasions. So please help me in welcoming to our virtual studio, Miss Janice Hartwell. So welcome, Queen. How are you?
Welcome. Oh, thank you so much for the welcome. I am doing great. How are you doing?
I am blessed and highly favored, honey, so I will not complain.
Good. I am so honored to be here, to be able to talk with you tonight. I count it a privilege to be able to speak to the Supreme Queen on tonight.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, listen, let's just go ahead and dive right in it
Mhm.
because I know that you have a lot to cover, and I really want to hear more about
Mhm.
your story, who
Yes.
Miss Janice Hartwell is, what you have overcome, and how you're able to just bounce back and just still live in perfectly fierce and focused. So just tell us a little bit more about you.
Well, as you already stated, I am Janice Hartwell, 42 years old, have been married for 12 years to my husband, Mr. Hezekiah Hartwell. Um, but I want people to know about me that I love the Lord. And as we stated earlier, my platform is Chin Up Princess, You Got This. So, as a young adult in high school, going through school, I was teased, I was bullied. I probably was the biggest one in my class. Um, so, that brought a lot of challenges in my life. At that time, I was confused. I had low self esteem. I had low self worth. I did not love myself whatsoever because I allowed what the other kids were saying to affect me. And I began to believe what they were saying because they said it so much. That was a hard period time in my life. And it took the Lord. to bring me to the place to where I am now. So I give all credit to him. So that's why I chose my platform, because I use my battle scars from when I was teased and bullied. And now I'm using that to make medicine for somebody else. So to reach out to the young girls in my community who may be struggling with low self-esteem or low self-confidence, and let them know, listen, princess, you got this. God never intended for each of every one of us to be the same size, the same color, the same shape. But one thing he did do was make everything good, and which is include us. So I go out and I reach to speak to young girls to let them know you are beautiful just the way you are. If you want to dye your hair color, that's fine. You can make change, but just know that you're beautiful just the way you are. So I speak to them like, and I put a little tiara on their head so they can have something tangible to see when they're not around me, when they having not such a good day, they can go back and look at that tiara and say, look, Miss Gaston or Miss Janice told me that I was beautiful. And they can go back and put that tiara back on their head, go look in the mirror and remember some of the affirmations that I get. But I just want them to know that they are loved and that they are amazing and that they are beautiful just the way they are.
You know what? And you have a very important platform
Hmm.
because, and I love the fact that you are very authentic and you're
Hmm.
very transparent in some of your struggles coming up as
Hmm.
a child. And we know that bullying is very serious,
Yes. Yes.
and I really don't want people to really make light of the situation,
Mm-mm.
especially since they are children. I
Hmm.
was teased quite a bit coming up as well. And a lot of
Hmm.
people just, associate that as just being a child, but it's serious in these streets. We have young people that are committing suicide
Suicide.
because
Yes.
they cannot deal with the pressures of their peers and they have to sit in this every day.
Every day.
And not only that, bullying has ch- definitely changed since you and I
Hmm.
were in
Hmm.
school. Now, social media plays a huge effect
Hmm.
in the bullying as well. So I am so glad and honored to hear that this is your platform. And I've been seeing pictures and seeing
Yes.
your work in the community. So I
Hmm.
really think that you're doing you have a very important platform because
I
it's really
do.
important for us to protect not only our young people, but especially our girls. And let's keep it real, our
Yeah.
African American girls
Yes.
well,
Yes.
because not only do they have it hard as being girls, they
Hmm.
have to prove themselves 10 times more than their counterparts because they are African American. So
Right.
I just honor you for that.
Hmm.
So let me ask you this. If you had to offer any advice to any young person, whether it is
Hmm.
male or female,
Hmm.
doesn't matter the race, if you had
Sure.
to offer any advice on how they can cope with being in that situation right now, what would you tell?
Hmm. One of the first things that I would tell them is your beauty, your self worth is not defined by what you see on the cover of a magazine. I believe that society has, kind of gotten to the point where our girls are feeling like if they don't look like the model, their skin color is not like the model in the magazine, then it must not be right. But I want them to know here tonight that your skin color, your shape, your size is important. You are beautiful. You are amazing. Talk to someone. Talk to a school counselor. Talk to your parents. Talk to your pastor. Talk to one of the mothers at church. But talk to someone. And if you are being bullied, please let someone know, because I feel like I may not can reach girls all across the world. Haven't got that far just yet. Not sure where God's going to take me. But if I can say just one thing to encourage one girl, and that can be the difference between her giving up and going on, then that's exactly what I do. But children, girls, boys, you have to know within yourself who God created you to be. You have to know within yourself that God didn't make a mistake when you were born, that your parents didn't make a mistake when you were born, and learn about yourself. Get to know yourself. So that way, when the voices come, when the other students come, no matter who it is, they come up against you and speaking negative over your life, you learn to stand with the positive. You remember who you are, you remember whose you are, and the Bible says you are a child of the King. That means you are royalty. You got a royal inheritance, and I would like for them to know that. we all go through things. You're going to go through things. You're going to go through struggles. You're going to have ups and downs, but you can make it. You got this. You can endure, and you will win the race.
Yes. There's a saying that I say all the time. The Bible lets us know that we are perfectly made in
Hmm.
his
Yes.
image. And I
Hmm.
really appreciate that. But it it also asks a question at the end of that statement. Do you know that? You
Hmm.
have to know who
You
you
have to know.
you have to know what your worth is. And
Hmm.
people tend to bully or
Hmm.
about or degrade other people because they have their own personal
Right.
insecurities, and
Hmm.
instead of facing and dealing with the issues that they are dealing with, they project it onto other people, which is not fair. But it
Mm-mm.
happens because
It
who
happens.
who wants to feel bad about themselves?
Hmm.
And some folks use that as a coping mechanism to help themselves feel better. So I love your advice to
Hmm.
the younger youth to really understand
Hmm. Who
who
they
you
are.
are, do
Who you
your
are.
research, and know your worth, because you are not here by a mistake. You're here
Hmm.
for a reason. And I believe
Hmm.
that there's a testimony in every story. So,
Yes.
one powerful word of wisdom. So I wanted to ask you, Janice, we know
Hmm.
that you are the reigning Mrs. Gaston Plus America 2023, but I'm curious to know what actually inspired you to take on such a fate and run for Miss Plus America pageant.
So it was definitely a leap of faith. I have never even considered being in a pageant ever in my life, and I'm 42 years old. Um, so I kept seeing it come across the Facebook. It was advertising, and I was like, "No, I'm not gonna do it. That's not for me. That's not for me." But then this one particular day, I saw it, and I was, I'm going to do it. And I hesitated for about 2 minutes, but then I submitted my application. Why? Because sometimes you do get tired of being in your comfort zone, and you want to experience more, and you want to try different things, but from some reason you either talk yourself out of it, or the devil start talking his lies, which we know that ain't no good. So I submitted my application, and I was like, Lord, just help me, because I knew that I wanted to venture out, get out of the box that Janice sometimes put herself in, and just go and pursue something different. So that's what I did. And it has been a journey. And if I could say that it has been a not every day hasn't been easy, but it was well worth it. And if I could just encourage somebody on tonight, step out on the water, step out on faith. It's going to be worth it. most importantly Most importantly, let God lead you. But I remember the first boot camp, and I was so discouraged. I began to tell God, I cannot do this, Lord. I can't walk like these other girls. I got this nerve damage, and I was making all kind of excuses. But God told me that, Janice, you can't. You said you believe in the scripture that says I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me. All right, stand on what you believe in. So I completed that journey, came out with third runner up, which I'm so happy to have received that award, because I really didn't think I was going to place at all. But my point is, if you have a physical disability or any kind of disability, like, you still have control over your life. You either get bitter or better, and I choose to get better. So yeah, so I am the Mrs. Gaston Plus America 23 because I choose to get better instead of bitter. Even though the challenges came, weapons was formed against me, but I'm sitting here today saying that they did not prosper.
Yes, ma'am. Come on, Miss Evangelist. Yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. And you just said a mouthful. Don't let your limitations hold you back. And
Hmm.
sometimes we, being humanly,
Hmm.
we are, we tend to let certain things hold us back, like you
Right.
said. But instead of letting that hold us back, use that as fuel to
Hmm.
propel you to a different level.
Yes.
Sometimes God allow things to happen to us, I believe,
Hmm. Yes.
to strengthen us in certain areas of our lives, and to also
Hmm.
prepare us for different challenges that may come upon us later on in the future. So, and sometimes some of us have very difficult paths to walk,
Mhm.
but there's a reason
Yes.
for that. So
Mhm.
instead of wallowing in that, pull up your bootstraps and
Yes.
start handling business, because
Yes.
somebody will draw strength from your
Mhm.
trials and tribulations. And
Right.
because you have nerve damage in your lower extremities,
Mhm.
somebody will see that and say,
Mhm.
you know what, if Mrs. Gaskin can stand up
Mhm.
there and shine and be beautiful and great and all of these other things, so can I.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
so I love that. Don't let your limitations keep you from being about God's business.
That's right.
I love it. I love it. Well, listen, we're going to take a very short commercial break. And when we commercial break, I'm talking too fast. I tend to do that, Miss Janice, from time to time. I'm
It's
learning to
okay.
slow down. But nevertheless, we will take a very brief commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to tie the show all together because I want to
Okay.
know, how does Miss Janice live in perfectly fierce and focused every day, especially
Okay.
with whatever health issues or she
Mhm.
has. I really want to hear from her on her and perfectly fierce and focused journey. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back with Miss Janice Hartwell, Mrs. Gaston Plus America 2023. Stay tuned.
Thank you for watching Kiva's Place, the Kiva Murdoch Author Call for Imperfectly Fierce and Focused, embracing your imperfections while still crushing your goals. If you've ever overcome procrastination, been a survivor of a traumatic experience, overcome fear and imposter syndrome, or even lived with a disease, illness, or disability, then you should consider being a co author for Imperfectly Fierce and Focused. Someone needs to hear your story. Imperfectly Fierce and Focused is not about being perfect. In fact, it's the complete opposite. This anthology is to empower, uplift, and motivate readers to recognize their ability and strength to get beyond the spirit of perfection, fear, and procrastination. It's time to tell your story. So come join our team, meet our visionary and current authors. Kiva Lernice Murdaugh, visionary author. Atricia Doyle, executive assistant and project manager. Dr. Tina D. Lewis, forward author. Lisa Dove Washington, co-author. Jacqueline Kabai Harrison, co-author. Fachina Kirkendall, co-author. Register today to become a co-author in Imperfectly Fierce and Focused. Visit our website at www.tinyurl.com/IFF-inquiry. Again, it's www.tinyurl.com/IFF-inquiry.
Would you would you recognize the signs of someone having a seizure? Would you know what to do if you witness someone having a seizure? Did you know that epilepsy affects 3 million Americans and 1 in 26 people living with epilepsy? Did you know epilepsy is a brain disorder that causes recurring, unprovoked seizures? Well, Hardy Hands Foundation is here to answer these questions and more. Hardy Hands Foundation is a 501c3 organization based out of South Carolina that was founded by Kim Hardy in November of 2017. We offer seizure first aid education, patient and caregiver support, therapeutic support, animal education, and so much more. For more details or how to book us for speaking engagements about epilepsy, visit our website at www.hardyhands.com.
And welcome back to Kiva's Place, the Kiva Murdoch Show and podcast. I am your host and producer, Kiva Lernice Murdaugh. Thank you so much for joining us. If you are just joining us tonight, I have in my studio Mrs. Janice Hartwell. She is the reigning Mrs. Gaston Plus America 2023. And we have been talking about her current platform, which is Chin Up Princess. You got this. And she really focuses on encouraging young girls to just step into who they are, know their worth, keep their heads up, and just continue to just persevere and push through life's challenges. So welcome again, Janice. It's an honor to have you join me tonight.
Thank you.
So right before our commercial break, I posed a question to you. I wanted to know, with everything you have endured through life, how do you continue to live imperfectly fierce and focused?
Very good question. So, um, I give all that credit to God. Like my relationship with God is the most important thing to me. But I was pushed into His presence, and when I say I was pushed into His presence, I mean I had a super traumatic experience. In 2008, I gave birth to a stillborn baby boy. I went to the hospital expecting to bring my baby home. I had his car seat, I had his outfit he was going to wear home, but I walked away from the hospital empty handed. And the outfit that my sister bought for him to wear home, is the outfit that I had to bury my child in. I was 8.5 months pregnant. I'm getting ready to deliver, and only for them to tell me that I had to give birth to a stillborn baby boy. So when I say I was pushed into His presence at that point, Kiva, I felt like there was nothing else for me to do. Like, I don't even know why God got me here. I don't even know why God, how could you allow me to go such tragedy? How could you allow me to carry my child for 8 months and then just take him away? So when I say I got pushed into His presence, um, I relied on Him like never before. I cried to Him like never before. I got down on my knees like never before. And from that point on, God lifted me to this point where I am now, so I can live imperfectly fierce and focused. Because I draw strength, because He was like, Janice, this is a traumatic experience, but I'm here to show you that it doesn't matter how tragic it is. I am the God who saves. I'm the God who will bring you through. I'm the God who will be with you on the mountain. I'm the God that'll be with you when you're down in the valley. So that's what brought me to my relationship where it is with God today, because sometimes He allows us to go through things to where we don't have no other choice but to rely fully and completely on Him. And that's what pushed me into His presence. And that's what got me here today. That's the reason why I'm alive and well, because God kept my mind when I felt like I was losing it, because He gave me strength when I felt like all hope was lost. He was right there bringing me to this point. So He's the reason why I'm living imperfectly fierce and focused. I give it all to God. And I hope that someone sees this who may be going through the same thing, to know that I understand your pain, but I also understand that God is there to heal you where there's nothing else. You feel like there's nothing else left. God is there to heal you and bring you through that tragedy, whatever it may be. It may not be a child loss, it may not be, whatever your tragedy is, God is able.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that story. I personally did not know that about you. We've spoken on a few occasions, but that's my first time hearing that, story. And I have never lost a child, so I could not even imagine what that must have felt like. My mother had a stillborn son. So I can relate to that
Right.
experience, seeing her go through that. But you are absolutely correct. Going through any traumatic situation will really have you questioning
Right.
your entire existence. But I
Yes.
love the fact that you realize and you recognize where you needed to go to find that strength. And a lot of people
Yes.
think when they go to God, they have to be all formal, and
Mm-mm.
you can literally, God wants us to be true to who we are when
True.
we come to Him. You don't have to try
Yes.
to dress yourself up to go to Him. He wants you as you are in the state that you're in.
That's right.
So if you are experiencing a difficult situation, that's the
Mhm.
time that you
Yes.
need to seek him. And what I'm hearing you say, Janice, is that you realize that you could not get yourself
Mm-mm.
out of that situation alone.
No, I couldn't.
Been a stronger and a higher power to be able to
Mhm.
deliver you.
Yes.
So I am so grateful that you shared that story, because
Mhm.
I believe that you may have saved a life tonight.
Mhm.
If there is anything that you are
Yes.
going through,
Mhm.
just understand that you can come to him, and
Yes.
he will fight your battles.
He will. He
Fight
will.
your battles. You do not have to suffer in silence. I say that all the time. You don't have to suffer in
Mm-mm.
silence.
Mm-mm.
Reach out. And not only that, create that small circle where you can share those vulnerable thoughts with.
Right. Right.
Because there are times when I have endured hardships,
Mhm.
and yes, I'm praying, but I feel like I needed, you know, a source
Some.
outside of
Yes.
prayer, and
Yes.
that's okay.
That's
Seek
right.
your tribe, somebody that you
Mhm.
can rely on, and somebody that's going to be honest to you and
Mhm.
let you know that, girl, you are better than this.
That's right.
You got this, and
Mhm.
I'm right here with you. So I just
Mhm.
honor you for that. Thank you so much for sharing that,
You're
Janice.
welcome. You're welcome.
Amazing, amazing. Listen, if anybody wants to reach out to you, I know that you are still actively working your platform,
Mhm.
and I'm just going to speak for you. If you are wanting to definitely get with Janice or
Right.
contact her for any speaking engagements, especially speaking into your young
Mhm.
girls, definitely reach
Mhm.
out to her. I'm going to
Yes,
put her
please.
email address on the screen. Definitely email her at byfaithgirl35 at gmail.com. And that's the
Mhm.
number 35. So
Mhm.
byfaithgirl, the number 35 at gmail.com. You can also reach out to her on Facebook at Janice Dixon Hartwell. Again,
Yeah.
that's Janice Dixon Hartwell. And before I close our show, I just wanted to just shout out all of our viewers that's been watching and interacting with us. Maxine Tisdale, thank you. She said hi. Thank you so much, Maxine. One of our sister queens, Miss Ebony Jones Mobley, she said her sisters. Oh, hey sisters, gotcha. Hey sisters. Hey Ebony.
Hey, Anthony.
She also said, OMG, says, I am so sorry when you were sharing
Oh, okay.
about your son. So
Mhm.
thank you all so much for watching and engaging with us. I greatly appreciate it. So Janice, before we actually close out the show, I want to give you the floor for any final comments, remarks you may want to add to the show that we may not have covered. So the floor is now yours to add any final remarks.
Well, first, thank you so much for having me, Kiva. I really enjoyed myself on tonight. And I just want for those of you who are watching now, and those who may go back and watch the rebroadcast or the replay, I just want you all to be encouraged. I just want you all to know that your life matters. Just know that I am here. If you need me to speak to the young girls, or you need me to speak, I am here to be of service any way that I can. I am here to serve. I believe in being a servant, but I want you to know tonight that if you may be going through a tough situation, if you may be going through the storms and the trials of life right now, that God is the answer, that God is the way, that He is here to help you, He is here to lead you, and He is here to guide you. And I'm not just calling out words, I'm telling you what I know as experience. I'm a testimony of the grace of God, I'm a testimony of the goodness of God. I'm sitting here, I'm still here by the grace of God. And I believe that there's a purpose and a plan for your life on tonight, that the issue that you're facing, that you're not facing alone. God is there with you. And when you take a look back and you only see one set of footprints and you wonder where God is, just know that you're not alone. Those footprints are His, and that He is carrying you through your storm. He is carrying you through your situation. You just know that you're going to make it. You're going to be just fine.
I love it. Powerful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Ebony says, Amen, sis. Love you.
Love you too, Eb.
Yes, yes, yes. Powerful, powerful, powerful. So thank you again, Janice, for
You're
just
welcome.
being here and being open and being honest and being transparent. And that's what Imperfectly Fierce and Focused is all about, is just
Mhm.
letting people know that despite their situations,
Yes.
despite the trauma, despite financial situation, despite businesses failing, despite
Mhm.
marriages failing, despite losing family,
Mhm.
despite all of that,
All
you
of it.
still be the best version of yourself.
Yes.
You
Yes.
can still persevere. You can still push through. You can still be a light in somebody's dark tunnel. It does not mean that your life is over.
Mm-mm.
Perfectly
Not at
Fierce and
all.
Focused is a book that is going to literally help shine a light and help give you nuggets and tips and strategies to pull you out of any situation. We have testimonies from authors from all walks of life. So I know that this book is going to be super impactful and is going to help you no matter what your journey is, no matter
Right.
what your struggles or your challenges or your trials are. This book is definitely going to help you with that. So we have one more guest to bring on next Thursday night. And then we're going to be officially in a pre-launch book tour. So I'm so excited about that. So definitely come right back next Thursday night. We're going to wrap up this part of our Imperfectly Fierce and Focused series. And I know you have enjoyed Janice and all of the other previous guests that I have had on during this series. So we have one more person that is coming next Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and she's going to wrap up this first phase of our book tour. So I'm so excited. So definitely come back. We're going to have Miss Brittany Kay, who is Miss Simpsonville Plus America 2023. She has a very powerful story, and she's going to be sharing with us her story and how she's living in Perfectly Fierce and Focused. So you do not want to miss that show.
Mhm.
So come right back next Thursday. So until next time, family, continue to share, connect, and glow, because we know that sharing your network, building your network, also builds your net worth. I'm drawing a blank tonight. I have so much going on in my head that I am trying to keep up with. But nevertheless,
Right.
we'll see you next Thursday night, family. Peace and blessings. Love y'all all. Good night.
Thank you for watching Kiva's Place, the Kiva Murdoch Show and Podcast. Tune in every Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Kiva's Place. To be a guest on our show, text the word guest to 803-368-3030 or visit us at tinyurl.com/Kiva's Place Book. And watch us on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire as we're broadcasting in more than 60 million homes worldwide.